Well, here we are once again, everybody. Welcome back to the vidIQ Tuesday channel audit live streams. You are here with your host, talking in the background as this beautiful music plays through. I don't know if you can hear me, but hey, it is good to be back. My ears. Apparently this is incredibly loud. I do apologize in advance. My co-host is laughing hysterically, but now we have failed as well. There we go. Here we are. What a wonderful start to this live stream. My name is Rob, and you are here with the most professionally run, most efficient channel audit live stream there is on YouTube. It might be because it's the only one. I apologize. I don't know why the audio was so loud there, if it was, but hey ho, it's been a while since we've used that intro. Everybody's joining us in a live stream now, which is awesome as ever. And yeah, if you are new here in the sense that you've joined in the last couple of weeks, maybe the last couple of months, we used to every single Tuesday do channel audit live streams where you would submit your channels and we would offer feedback, advice, guidance, etc., to help you on your YouTube journey, turning your passion into hopefully your future prosperous career. We've taken a break from that until today, and I'm going to give you a specific reason why we're bringing it back today. But before all of that, I did say there was a co-host laughing hysterically in the background as I messed up that intro. It is, of course, Dan, my co-host. Welcome, as always, terrified and surprised to be brought onto the stream. How's it going, Dan? What's going on?
Good. Nothing.
Nothing's going on as always, Dan. It's as if he goes into cold storage hibernation, and we have to flick a switch to boot up the operating system. But here he is, Dan. I'm excited for a very specific reason. Do you know why I'm excited?
You are excited because we're one step closer to beating Ford Motor Company in subscribers.
Indeed. Again, all the regular followers to this live stream will know what we're talking about. And we are actually bringing on a very special guest to talk about that voyage towards the Ford Motor Company. And that is our very own subscriber count. Hey, subscriber count, how's it going? Say hello to everybody by ticking up another number. Thank you for acknowledging us there. You are on the journey to 2 million subscribers right now, and our predictions and forecasts say that you will hit 2 million in the next 2 weeks, possibly 11, 12 days at this point. So, we may be using you a little bit more in appearances. Yes, I know, it is so exciting that you just went up 2 subscribers there. That's amazing news. We're going to leave you on throughout the entirety of the stream, and we'll track it and see where we are at the end, and maybe somebody can do some calculations. There's no need to be like that. Subscriber count.
It doesn't like math.
Yeah, no cursing there. Please don't do that. Just continue to tick upwards. Thanks, Dan. Thank you. There we go. It sorted itself out. But we'll check in on a subscriber count later on. But first of all, what we need to do is explain to all of you how this live stream session is going to work via the medium of a 41-second tutorial. This is your weekly YouTube channel audit live stream. All you need to do is use the correct link in the description, fill out the form, and we'll consider your channel for review. That's right, channel reviews are free, but you can send us a super chat and watch us discuss your question live on air. If you submit your channel for review, expect the following. We will share with you our knowledge, experience, and passion as fellow YouTube creators. I want to give a massive shout out and thanks to our moderators who do an awesome job every single live stream. And that's your onboarding done. What channels have you brought us this week? I have to confess, it's been a while since I've done the channel audit. So I usually have a housekeeping point here, which is something along the lines of super chats. If you want to send them in, we'll dedicate some time to answer those questions. And just be aware that if you don't get picked, try and use this as a community conversation about what channels do right and wrong. So we'll be talking about many of the fundamentals, and they likely apply to your channel, even if we're not directly auditing your channel. With all of that being said, Dan, subscriber count, are you both ready to start auditing channels?
I am, but subscriber count's upset.
Okay, well, sorry. Well, it seems as if it's sorted itself out.
It's kind of like this.
It is a very, very moody subscriber count.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm going to introduce you to our first channel, and I thought we'd make this incredibly hard for ourselves as the first channel we're auditing after a couple of months, even though we're probably a little rusty at this. I'm going to crack my knuckles a bit and get ready. But I'm going to present to you a channel that calls themselves Demente con Monchila. Apologies if I've pronounced that channel name incorrectly. It is not English. I believe it is either Spanish or Portuguese. And so that creates a language barrier for us, but it does allow us to maybe talk about things in an interesting visual way. So just introduce us to what you think the channel is about, and then I'll chime in with what I believe.
I'm going to say, based on the few thumbnails at the top, there's a history angle, but then like when we scroll down a little bit, it seems like we're talking about like housing and things of that nature. So now I'm wondering if this is a creator that kind of talks about just all kinds of stuff that they're just interested in at the time. I mean, this is good progress. It's a year, but not a ton of videos. So decent views just kind of like across the channel for that length of time. I like the thumbnails a lot. I do feel like they put a good amount of time into considering communicating the message through the thumbnail. Especially that one in the top middle there. Just something about that one standing out to me quite a bit.
It's interesting that you picked out the history and maybe the lifestyle. I'm guessing here from perhaps looking at historical events such as maybe the Holocaust, Auschwitz, but also here as well. This kind of feels like something at home kind of lifestyle content.
Yeah.
What I thought it was mainly was a travel channel, given like the different flags I was seeing and the people and the culture. And then I was naturally drawn to this one for two reasons. First of all, I think this one kind of transcends language, and that this looks to be like a video about how to get cheaper flights. And that seems fairly straightforward, and also because it's an outlier. So our tool here, one of the free tools that we have here at vidIQ, is saying that this video is performing 5.5 times better than the rest of the channel. So, you know, though we do have the language barrier, I think if somebody was swiping through before they even read the title, they're seeing that this is a video about saving money through flights. And so that's why that one spoke to me more than any of the other ones.
Mm-hmm. That does seem to be their best video as well. So it kind of makes sense because like you were drawn to it and it has more of that mass appeal.
Yeah, a broad audience.
Yeah, it's like a problem that affects everybody who travels, which is a lot of people. You know, at one time or another, you'll probably travel via plane, and so when you see the way plane tickets are right now in terms of prices, yeah, you probably are like a little bit curious, like what can I do about this? So it might not matter what the channel's about when they make a video like that, and so it kind of makes me hope that they're a travel channel because. Yes, a lot of people will discover you through that video. Not everyone will stay, but maybe some people will. Maybe the story you tell within that video about where you're going and things like that make people think, oh, this person seems to like go out in the world a lot and do different things. So maybe I'll actually like watch their next video, even if it's not tips on how to have cheaper travel, you know? That's kind of what you want with videos like this. But if you're posting this video and then the next video is just like a documentary about like a historical event or something, that's not like a great audience fit. And so when you do videos like this, you just have to remember audience fit is like super, super important because like who is the audience you are trying to target? It can't really be everybody in the world, every single video. You know what I mean? You're going to grow a lot faster if you have like a specific focus.
So by process of language barrier elimination, Dan and I have both been drawn to this one as maybe a foundational piece of content that you could return to. You know, you're still relatively early in your YouTube journey, so I think you'll agree with me, Dan. I don't want to tell this creator just to start looking at how to travel on a frugal budget, because there have been, an interesting outlier here as well with this one. I'm not entirely sure if this is about travel or history or whether it's both. And then there is another one down here which looks a lot more like an adventure travel, like going into maybe an extreme situation, but also interacting with a local culture as well. There are outliers here and there, but there's probably not enough videos to really get a firm sense of where they might want to really niche down just yet. The one final thing I wanted to point out here was, again, using our tools, is that I applaud this creator for experimenting with different thumbnails. It seems to me as if, I'm not sure if they've got the A/B testing thumbnail tool, because all of the thumbnails are on different dates, but I think that should be now available to you to use whenever you want. So do consider that. But I like how they've tested whether or not a face in the picture works or doesn't. And I would say, Dan, for this one, the clarity here is what makes it really shine. So, that is an example where maybe a face isn't required. The most important thing here is expensive price, cheap price. This is where I'm going to guide you in this video.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed the amount of title changes they had in the history of this video as well. There was a time where, if you scroll up to the graph, like there was a time where their title and or thumbnail combo was working really well, and then they kept testing and it went down. And now they're in a good place. But like, for a time, the trajectory they ended up with in the end, they already had earlier in the process. And I feel like they started testing things and getting really addicted to testing things, to the point where it kind of harmed the video for a little bit. And in a little way, overall, the video did well. But you can see it. I don't have my cursor that I can point with, but towards the beginning of the graph, you kind of see how it's pointing in a really strong direction. Like there's positive signals, and then it starts to level off a bit after some more testing. So I don't know if there's a lesson there in like over testing a video, like, and over optimizing a video. It seems like a lot of time was spent. Like we're over a month later and they're still trying different titles and thumbnails in that graph there. Yeah. So you could you have made like another video in that time? Were you stressing about this video? Maybe not. We're just talking about titles and thumbnails, but like, just remember, like, more videos can lead to the growth of an older video. That's important, because if you keep posting, someone could get recommended your newest video and then start to get recommended your older videos as well. So old videos can rise up through posting new videos too. You don't have to just optimize one video forever until you're happy with it.
That is how our channel audits work. And if you are brand new here and you're into this, you get it, then why don't you let our subscriber count know by, pressing that button maybe, because it seems pretty happy right now. It's continuing to tick up. But we need to do another channel audit, Dan. And what we typically do is a non-gaming channel and then a gaming channel, because there are a high degree of our audience are gamers, but we try to keep the breadth of channels quite wide, or else we'll be auditing too many gaming channels. But we do always make sure to do one gaming channel in the first half an hour. And I'm hoping, Dan, that when we look at Jayster, who has 8,000 subscribers, 800 videos, and recent videos with only a couple of dozen views, you're going to be able to spot fairly quickly what this creator needs to perhaps identify and then maybe focus on. I'm just going to zoom out so we can see more thumbnails here. So
there's a game called TCG Card Shop Simulator, which is, it went viral. Incredibly addictive game. Really, really fun. And those videos for them didn't just do well, they did fabulous.
They are popping. Cool.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands of views.
Yes. And it comes down to, wait, so why not, first of all, why not only do that forever? And that's probably due to them having multiple interests. They like a lot of different games. And then secondly, how can they, if they like multiple games, how can they recapture that success going forward? And my first thing would be, well, all you can do is your best. When you introduce yourself to a wide new audience, then you need to just put your best foot forward, make sure the quality is really good so people build that trust with you. So when you do switch games, they're willing to be along for the ride. But then the next thing to keep in mind is, how similar is that game? Like, I've played this game and I know for a fact that it is within a certain genre of games, simulator type games where you like run a store or something. Now that genre is big and wide and you can try all kinds of cool games within it, but they didn't do that. They went to a roguelike game after that, and then they played Alan Wake 2, and then they did like a full playthrough of a horror game, and then
Yeah.
now they're doing Sonic. So there's not a lot of like strategy going on. I think they kind of lucked into TCG Card Shop Simulator, and it worked for them. And most of the time, we saw some that weren't doing as well. But
Sure.
then from there, it's like, well, now what do I do?
Sorted by most popular, they have gone through maybe a series of different niches at different times. They were reviewing controllers, and they had some success there.
Mm-hmm.
And they had one outlier from Valorant a while back, but when I scroll down, I start to see these TCG Card Shop Simulator games appearing in their most popular now, with tens of thousands of views.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do we just simply have to say to this creator at this point, are these the latest ones? Oh, those are lives. Well, we'll get back to them in a second. In terms of the long form content now, you have created very quickly an audience that has a rabid appetite for this game. Should this channel essentially really lean hard into this topic and perhaps save their other interests for a new channel?
I have
new
one complaint. I don't know if I would call it a complaint. I have one curiosity. Let's click on the latest video. It's of TCG Card Shop Simulator.
This one.
So it's down the middle. That one. Let's just listen to this for a minute.
Okay. Hopefully you can hear it, folks.
Yo guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Hope you guys are having an awesome day. My name is Jster. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Glad to have you guys here. Today we're gonna be doing another step-by-step guide for the Pokemon install for TCG Card Shop Simulator.
Okay. All right.
Now,
got
these
it.
past couple
Pause it.
Dan's got it.
Okay. So I was just making sure because of the title. I read the titles of these. I'm like, oh, okay. They are, every time the mod has an update, they redo the guide to install the mod. My guess is that installing the mod doesn't really change when mod gets updated personally, but it's working for them anyway. People want to see up-to-date versions of it. It makes sense. It's just what I'm really curious about is why did they not try to play the game more? It's the guides did well, and when they did try, they got 200 views. See that down there? They said Pokemon in TCG Card Shop Simulator gameplay part 3. They got 200 views, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, well, all I can do is guides on this game, and they tripled down on that. They got a bunch of views, and then they kind of said, I have to go back to doing what I was doing. There's no more guides I can make right now. I think they narrowed their focus too much. They got really, really obsessed with like, I need the views, and so I can only play this game in this context, meaning I can't play it at all. I have to give tutorials on how to install a particular mod. I think you could have kept playing the game too. I think what you needed to do is strategize a little bit more about how you were going to play the game. Is there a specific card you're going after? Like this game, it's not just about running a shop. You get to open cards and like flip through them and stuff. And there's a bunch of rare cards. Maybe you're trying to collect every single card. Like you can put yourself up to a challenge and play the game and do your playthroughs in that context rather than Pokemon in TCG Card Shop Simulator. Like I already know that's a thing. All the influencers are doing that. You didn't offer anything like new and exciting. So I think you should have kept trying with that game before giving up and saying all I can do is tutorials. I'm making a bold assumption there about their strategy, but that's just what we're seeing on the front page here.
Could the videos be almost packaged as in there's something to learn, there's a value to be gained here? It has tutorial-esque packaging, but there can be an experience and a story told once somebody actually moves into watching the video.
Maybe. I wouldn't want to deceive people. Like if you're saying you have to offer, that's why I wanted to click on it. I wanted to see if they were offering a tutorial, but then just playing the game and saying, I'll do the tutorial later or something. They weren't. It was just a tutorial. So yeah, there could be a combo in there, but I think yes, people will watch that video once. They'll be like, thanks. And then they'll move on and play the game. So if you want to be on their second monitor while they're playing the game, it's just about bringing some extra value to the table. And this was a very trendy game, probably still is to a degree, and it's a competitive space. So you just have to kind of like say, at the very least, you don't have to do something, you have to reinvent the wheel, but at the very least, I'd be saying, this is my goal. I'd be communicating that clearly in the title and thumbnail. Like, this is my goal for TCG Card Trap Sim.
Outside of
game.
what currently seems to be an outlier series for them, everything else they're doing, not only in videos and lives, seems to be very low traction.
Yeah,
hundreds of views, dozens of views.
Mm-hmm.
I get the let's play vibe here, which we've talked about many times on a live stream. Like, summarize what the creator maybe needs to think about here in 20 seconds.
They need to be considering the value of each video that they make. Why would I watch this? Just saying full playthrough of blank game is not going to be enough, especially when it's not a full playthrough. You've broken a full playthrough into 3 parts so far. I get that it will eventually be a full playthrough, but when I see full playthrough, I expect a very, very long video that is like from beginning, middle, and end the entire game. So like that is valuable in itself, but when you're not doing that, think about what is the value of the video I'm watching. It needs to go beyond just episode 1, 2, 3, etc.
All right, let's move on to another channel, and we are going to look at Tony's Project Garage. They, Dan, are approaching 1,000 subscribers from the near 50 videos that they have made so far. Mm-hmm. Let's see if we can collectively make an assessment on what the channel is about. Is it like a restoration channel of a certain type of vehicle, trucks, and maybe this Cobra? This looks like a bit of an American muscle car type of vehicle. So forgive me if I'm wrong with anything I'm saying here.
It's like an edition of the Mustang. I don't know too much about them either, but I know it's like it's like a Cobra edition Mustang.
Is that right?
Yeah. So interesting outliers here. When they flew to Tennessee to buy
this one
car, they got 35,000 views. So that's kind of like a story being told. And we noticed some other ones before we went live as well that kind of maybe fit that same kind of vibe. Ford Powerstroke DPF delete and tune install. So, okay, so that's more of a tutorial. Installing Timberbrin SES to stop towing squat. That's also a tutorial. Some of those tutorials have kind of like taken off and others haven't. It's interesting that like the video of them buying the car also did really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if I sort by most popular stuff was a bit more. It looks as if they've had like a single hit tutorial videos. And, the challenge with that is that typically the viewer is one and done. They'll get an answer to their question and then they don't really need to see any more. Whereas this one, which has very much story vibes to it, has the potential to suck the viewer in and then hold them for future content if you continue to share your like interest and passion in this vehicle. So follow-up content to this would certainly be recommended. And again, when we talk about like maybe the accessibility of the content, I guess this one is more approachable because everybody has an idea of their like favorite or dream car. And maybe if you're not necessarily a fan of the 2004 Cobra, you can buy into the dream of owning your perfect car and kind of follow on with that. I'm wondering if they can continue to lean into that theme in future content, because I think just going back to the most recent ones, we go from this, which is buying a perfect car, to then a really specific niche tutorial, installing kill mat to quiet cabin noise. I don't understand what any of that means. In terms of views, it's kind of performed better than most other things in the area because it's about this car.
Yeah,
but it's has a much lower, I guess, total addressable market. So a phrase we've used previously.
I mean, when you make a video that's installing a specific part for a specific vehicle, your total addressable market is very small because you are relying on not only owners of that vehicle watching, but owners of that vehicle watching your video on that tutorial. And that the fact that they even want to install that thing in the first place also needs to be present. So think about how narrow that needle is that you have to thread. So it is great that they've tried other types of content that have like soared, and they're more approachable for anybody. I could see watching the video where you're traveling to buy your dream car, like Rob said, there's like a relatability there, even though I don't want that specific car. So I don't want to say they can't do those tutorials. That's certainly not the case.
Sure,
They can do those sometimes. It's fine. It's not gonna hurt
Yep.
anything. But if we're talking about like how do I more consistently get views, you need to more consistently reach a specific target audience. Like a channel I think about a lot with cars is called Car Edge, and they've been around for a while now, and their audience are just people who might be about to buy a car. They talk about news going on with different manufacturers, and they talk about like tricks of the trade, like trying to get a car for a good price and things like that. And they have a whole business around it too. So their audience is very much, if someone wants to buy a car, they'll probably find our channel, and that's it. Like that's their whole focus. So every channel on YouTube, it helps to have that. Like, who is your audience? Who's your ideal viewer? Because you want to have that person coming back video after video after video. And it's hard to do that if you're kind of all over the place. Sometimes it's for people who own this specific car and want this specific mod. And sometimes it's like, I'm just along for the ride. I like people who like cars, and I like to watch channels like that.
So what ideas, Dan, could there be? I'm thinking of something on the lines of how to look after my 20-year-old dream car. That could be one thing, because maintenance, looking after, like, it's not necessarily a classic car, but it is a car with probably some miles on it. That might be one way. Another thought could be like, how can you install useful modern technology, which might be like keyless entry, like how to get keyless entry for your 30-year-old Mustang.
Right.
Or those are the two things I can think of right now. What about you, Dan?
Yeah. I would be thinking along those lines. I would be thinking actually as well, where are car enthusiasts hanging out? What are they interested in? Because I think if you're doing stuff like this, you're an enthusiast. You're not just using a car from point A to point B. You love your car and you want to do stuff with your car. So I would be trying to figure out content that makes sense for that type of viewer as well. And you can do multiple things, but it still helps in every case. Like, who is the target audience?
What is the real cost of buying a 20-year-old car? You buy it for $5,000, but is it going to cost you a couple of extra $1,000 in like changing the brake pads or like
maintenance? And
more than me, the creator. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to bring you layman's ideas that may be of interest to me, like a casual viewer like me, as opposed to installing the kill mat to quiet cabin noise thing, because I have no idea what that is.
Well, quieting cabin noise could apply to people without just a Cobra, for example.
Yeah.
Like if you're installing a loud exhaust on any vehicle, like you might be like, oh, it's loud in here now.
Yeah. So again, more approachable. Thought of this is 20, 30-year-old muscle cars sound really loud. How do you fix that with a modern piece of technology that doesn't ruin the essence of that muscle car, perhaps?
Right.
That is Tony's Project Garage. Congratulations in advance on 1,000 subscribers when you hit them. Right, Dan, I'm going to introduce you Everyday Epics. Now, let me just give you the lowdown here of a channel that's still very much in their infancy in terms of numbers. They have less than 50 subscribers. They have less than 20 videos. And you look at the view counts, Dan, and they are not great at the moment. They're dozens of views again, hardly anything above 100 views. So I want to show you a video, but before I do that, what do you think might be the reason why this channel hasn't found any traction yet?
I think it's difficult to know if they are a comedy channel or if they are actually trying to give people like tips and tricks and things like that. Like, for example, the joys of unclogging a toilet looks like it could be a comedy video, but it could also literally be like, oh, here's how to unclog a toilet. And then later up the list there, Dad's Epic Barbecue Battle. Grill Dad is the thumbnail, as it says. And I don't, a battle, what are we talking? Like, I'm not clear on a lot of these. The clarity is, I guess that's the thing I'm trying to say. The clarity is missing. I had to walk.
So maybe what you're saying here is that the packaging isn't creating the intrigue, or like, I get this. I want to click on it and find out more.
Yes, I don't get every single video in a vacuum. I do not get it.
Okay, so with that in mind, Dan, just watch this video.
It's a little long.
I will pause it there.
Yeah.
What do we think?
So the comedy angle, I was right. It seems like this is going to be like kind of funny. Yeah, cinematic. It is very well made. I'm still not getting it through the title or the thumbnail. It takes the background knowledge of I have to know this creator first. I have to know their intention behind every video in order to understand the title and thumbnail. Now that I understand the intention behind the videos, I can more confidently look at each one on the page and go, okay, I know what that one's going to be. I know what that one's going to be. It's going to be them coming up against fictional challenges to everyday problems, and it's going to be filmed with the intent of making people laugh. Cool. We need to communicate that on a title and thumbnail level. That's what has to happen next.
So it's saying that there's a twist in about 20 seconds. I guess the question is, would the viewer give you the 50 seconds that you need? Because we typically know that audiences drop off in the first 30 seconds if they're not into it. So there may be a bit of a pacing issue here. What I will say, Dan, is like the execution, the quality, the filming, the music.
Oh yeah,
all of that is like amazing, isn't it?
Fantastic.
It's one of these types of videos where you think and say this creator should have more views than they do. But maybe you're right, and I think I agree with you here in that the idea, which then influences the packaging, maybe isn't just quite right yet. And I was trying to think, how might you make the packaging more accessible? And Dad's Epic or Epic Dad, like fill in the blank, is that enough to pull in the viewer? Clearly, that doesn't seem to be the case just yet. But thinking off the top of my head, I'm not sure how else I would package this yet. I'd need a few moments to think about this, of where a title might come from.
Well, what about, we could tell the story with a thumbnail maybe a little better too. So like we saw in like one of the little preview windows, like I think one of their kids had like a toy gun or something. So what if you reimagine the thumbnail to where the dad's at the grill, but you're looking through the sight line of a gun or a toy gun, pointed at him while he's just trying to grill. Like that starts to tell more of a story. And then Dad's epic barbecue battle makes a little more sense. Now we kind of see the battle portion of it playing out in the thumbnail, and it becomes less about the grill being the star of the thumbnail and the dad grilling, and more about the story that's going to unfold. I know that you're trying to say, well, there's a twist later on, and because of the little preview, I'm guessing that was the twist. But you can spoil it a little bit with the title and thumbnail and tell a solid story.
Mm-hmm. What do you think? Should we try another one? See if we get
a water balloon squirt gun battle. Got it. Yeah, and I think that's great, and I think that's like a nice complete story. I just, the battle makes sense when I click on the video and I get that context, right? But I didn't get that from the title or thumbnail. That's all I'm trying to explain, because if you just go to the YouTube homepage, like when people visit YouTube, this is their introduction to you. You get maybe one video somewhere during the day for somebody in this home feed.
Yeah.
They cannot be empowered to click on it if they don't understand it based on just this information right here.
Sure. Yeah.
Pick any of these videos. Do you understand them? And if the answer is no, you're probably not going to click on them. And then if you understand them, you might not click on them because you have to be interested in the first place, right? So it's just that's the struggle of YouTube. And so that's all I'm trying to explain here. I think you're doing a great job. I just think that you have to understand that people are finding you not from here. They're finding you from the YouTube homepage. They're not clicking on your about section first. They're finding you from search or the homepage or something like that, and they don't know who you are yet. And that's what we're trying to solve.
It feels as if this creator is like just one video away from like the chef's kiss idea, along with really effective packaging, to get a video that has tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views. And when that happens, they'll probably go back to these videos and look and watch them and think these are just as cool, because they're not going to have that barrier of the packaging, because they're now familiar with your content. So if and when that happens, you may want to think about repackaging these older videos, because I think there's life in them. They're timeless. I don't think you've got any problem with not being potentially a trending topic in the future, because these are all, I guess, things
Evergreen.
that dads experience in their life.
I do think, by the way,
I'm hopeful.
husband boot camp on its own does make sense. That did and it got more views. That did a better job of explaining the video without needing to understand the channel.
Let's watch the first 30 seconds of this and see if it has a good hook.
You have exactly 1 week to get you in shape and ready to take care of those kids on your own. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. I don't know how you take care of these kids all day, every day.
You really want to know?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be out of...
I'll pause it right there. What do you think?
I think it delivers on the title and thumbnail. I do. I think there's... It's a little... The intro's a bit slow. I'll say that. Like,
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a personing issue there. It's quite a fast, energetic hook. Then the splash screen intro, which we're never particularly fans of, but now it's going into a setup, and I'm not sure if it's not really hooked me that to...
We can work on pacing over time, though. That's just like the incremental improvements of being a creator. From a packaging perspective, this one worked better for me because I understood it from a distance, without having to have context for who the creator is ahead of time. So if I had to take their videos and compare them against each other, that's what this one did for me. But yes, we can definitely... We don't have time, obviously, but we can dive into pacing a little bit and give some tips there. I would say just our initial look was like, it's taking a little bit of time to get to the point here.
So there we have Everyday Epics. Next channel we're going to look at goes by the name of Kylson Batista. I hope and believe. Apologies if I've mispronounced that. And they are a 3D artist. And the purpose of their channel, I think, is to help with Blender tutorials. It looks like from the About section. And down I'm seeing a couple of outliers here with specific stuff on how to render with these simple steps, animate objects along curves, how to add ground dirt to your objects. Well, that is incredibly specific.
Yeah, it worked though.
How to easily create procedural edgeware in Blender. Goodness, I didn't even realize that was a thing, and I probably shouldn't.
That's really interesting. I can see individually like the value of these videos too. The thumbnails, especially that edgeware one, that does a really good job of explaining what you mean. This is where the arrow is like really necessary, because edgeware on its own wouldn't tell me much, but the arrow, you're saying the edges of the barrel, and you want each one to look different. Like they're all aging a bit differently. You want that'll make it look realistic in the environment. So that works. And I think, when you look at all of these videos, you have a similar trend going on where it's like, how do you create an arch? Like, oh, cool. The understanding, even though I don't use Blender, the understanding is there. I get all of these videos. If I saw any of them on the homepage, at the very least, I would understand what I was clicking on.
Sure. My guess is then, in terms of what they've done so far, is that they probably want to immerse themselves in forums and groups where people are asking for these very specific solutions. And then maybe doing a search on YouTube and determining if nobody's answered this very specific solution, then I'm going to be the one of one solution to these things. But to bear in mind that they are very specific. So there's probably a cap here of, I'm guessing at this point, like, maybe 50,000 views.
Yeah.
So continue to make this type of content, but be aware that if there are alternative solutions already on YouTube, then you're probably, it's going to be hard to dislodge that existing content. But when there is no solution on YouTube, you have this opportunity and advantage. I've also noticed that procedural whatever that means within Blender, type of content this creator kind of has an edge with. I'm seeing 3 videos here that rank quite well. But I think what we have to consider is where can they have some real breakout content? We're not just talking about occasionally tens of thousands of views. That one Blender tutorial that gets them 100,000 views, because they do exist already on YouTube.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, if we knew the answer to that on a whim, we would obviously be very, very rich. But yeah, like when the first person made like a donut in Blender, did they know that it was going to be as big and viral as it was? I think probably not. So the creator we were just looking at was having a lot of success with just everyday items and like manipulating them in different ways. That donut one comes up all the time.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere with that and I got distracted.
What I'm wondering about, Dan, is it worth the risk to try a really accessible piece of content? Like, I don't know if they've done this before, like a complete beginner's guide to procedural. I don't even know what that is, but
it's basically like a procedurally generated map in Minecraft means every single map is different. Right?
Oh,
like
right. Okay,
the game is creating it itself, and it's just always
the
different.
beginner's guide to procedural objects, then, or procedural habitats or landscapes in Blender. That might be like their expertise and kind of like a broad tutorial. I think that's where I'm trying to combine the large audience with their specific skill and knowledge.
Another idea could be like maybe you remake a popular character in Blender, because if I'm doing a tutorial, maybe I want to approach it like, oh, this character that's really famous, like Mario, for example, although be careful with Nintendo, but like if I could remake Mario in Blender, I could do anything. And maybe you know how to do that, and you could teach people like, about making any character, and you can use Mario as like the model for that, or something. Like, I don't know, like recognizable characters and stuff help. Obviously, recognizable objects are very helpful, so that could be one direction as well. But I'm just spitballing.
Here's 2 videos. One about rain and water. Could you expand that into the complete beginner's guide to weather effects in Blender? Another one here, easy professional lighting. It's a 1 minute 40-second video. The complete beginner's guide to lighting objects in Blender.
Yeah,
that's where I'm thinking of an opportunity for a big hit video that brings in a lot of new viewers that are then going to find your more specific answers to specific questions.
Yeah, we're talking about course length videos here. So if you have like the wherewithal to make something that's really long and meaty, that can be really, really beneficial for our channel. We've done this with our old content by compiling it together, a really big, meaty video. You could do this yourself, or you could start from scratch and make like a whole new big tutorial. And you can release one of these maybe once every 3 months, once every year. Yeah, there you go.
The evidence is here that the viewers will stomach longer videos from you, like 8 minutes, 7 minutes, 22 minutes.
Yeah, and not to mention those are all very well received videos too.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll have watch time on your side, and those videos can provide a lot of value to a new audience looking to get kind of like a whole introductory course, rather than running around YouTube trying to find specific answers to the questions.
That is Kylson Batista with a Blender channel, and congratulations to your success so far. I guess what I should check is, with 5,000 subscribers, do they have any shorts that have gone viral at all? Yeah, so they're doing some shorts as well, which kind of leans into their answering specific questions about Blender and doing it in a short amount of time, which I've already had success with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And again, there is the opportunity, I think, with Shorts has kind of introduced a new search engine to YouTube, where people were previously answering questions in a minute or 2. Well, I guess that's now kind of been ruined with 3-minute long shorts as well, but that's an argument for a different day, kind of. Let's move on, shall we, Dan? I think what we should do is change the mood a little bit because we're going to do some fireside conversation, I think, with the questions that have been starred so far here on this channel audit live stream. So let's see what we have. We have Koifish Gaming, who, oh my goodness, have been a member for 17 months. I didn't even realize, Dan, we've been running memberships for that long.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah,
And is this your actual message? My message is marked in green. You wanted to tell us that. Awesome. As always, when we shout out members, they get sound effects. This is yours for this week.
Bruh.
Lovely stuff. We've got a super sticker here from More Adventure. Hopefully you all saw that in the chat. Thank you for the super sticky. Can anyone hear the music, by the way? I can't hear it.
No.
Oh, and my dog has just come in again, so he's going to steal something. Dan, can you read out this question? And I'm going to just usher my dog out of here.
Sure. Have you heard of YouTube's Gemini AI? Might be giving vidIQ some competition. Oh yeah, we've seen YouTube adding all kinds of AI tools, and you know,
This is Jasper. He's not supposed to be in here.
YouTube's tools and our tools, I would like to think, live in harmony. Of course, you know, try out both. See what you get. I would say when I compare the two, YouTube's AI tools are more for like viewers and getting them a different experience on YouTube, and our tools are more tailored towards creators and helping them make videos. So, you know, that's how I see it.
Whatever Dan said there, I completely agree. I should get this full screen, by the way. There we go. That's better. Do you think turning off ads on content is taken into account in the algorithm when recommending or not recommending my content? Ads off, less promoting?
Meh, not really.
I made a video about this a couple of years ago when I turned on monetization for the first time on a channel on about 30 videos, and it had little to no impact other than actually views slightly went down, but that was more because the videos themselves were aging.
Yeah.
YouTube tells us that monetization of a video has zero impact on its discoverability. It's not designed to make more money for YouTube. That's what they tell us, and I tend to agree with that.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they're going to probably put ads all over the video, even if you turn them off anyway. So,
More Adventure 199 super chats. They've now almost got 3,000 subscribers. Congratulations on your progress there. Well done. Assume you're monetized at this point. Well, let's hope so. The next one is from the Alpheus Gaming. First, thanks for everything, boys, at vidIQ. Second, my question. I want to pivot into other content. I want to either grow on YouTube tutorials, or should I go for other games, or both? Best pivoting advice.
sounds like you're going from gaming to maybe a whole different niche. So keep that in mind. That's a different audience. You're going from people who want entertaining gaming videos to people who want to make videos themselves and be successful. So if you do that, it sounds like a different channel.
If the channel was going to focus on how to grow a gaming channel, then there is some natural crossover. But again, when you think about how many people are watching your gaming videos versus how many want to either make a gaming channel themselves, you're probably looking at maybe 10 to 5% of our audience has that crossover. So I'm in a general agreement there, Dan, that the pivot here for that channel feels too harsh.
Yeah.
To the point that you're going to maintain the existing audience.
Look at Pat Flynn, who kind of went the other way. They were making growth videos, and then he moved on to making Pokemon trading card videos, like where he's on, opening Pokemon card packs and things like that. And that was a different channel. It was obviously a different channel because you're not going to take your audience interested in growing a business and suddenly get them interested in Pokemon cards. So he knew that, and that's what he did, and he's been very successful with both.
Indeed, that pivot created an incredibly successful, one of the biggest Pokemon card channels I think on YouTube.
He is now like the second largest one or something.
We have vidEQ Gaming, who's been a member for 15 months. Goodness, some real OGs here. Your sound effect is going to be this.
Hope they weren't wearing
like air horns, but you've got them. Sorry, what's that, Dan?
I hope they weren't wearing headphones.
Yeah, sorry if that was a bit loud. We've got one from Ultimate G33. Doubled my subscribers from my last channel review 2-3 months ago. Hey, that's awesome to hear. Thanks for the advice. and I stuck with the same topic, which is EAFC, which helped. So my guess is, I think there were maybe like an EAFC card channel, but they were doing some maybe other gaming things as well. But glad to hear it, and you should be in the prime season now with the new version of the game recently being released. But good to know that our advice helped at least one creator. Hopefully there's more there as well. And Ultimate GG, please subscribe. Do let us know. If you haven't already, do let the subscribe count know how helpful we've been. Beyond Every Valley, member for 7 months. You'll have this sound effect. And another of the OG members, 9 finger wrenching, 17 months. That's incredible. You're going to get this sound effect. Do you remember that sound effect? I'm always trying to remember if that's from Mac OS or Windows OS. I still can't remember.
I think it is from Mac.
Another one here. 1 year now as a vidIQ member, and we're about to hit 2,000 subscribers. So I'm going to give you this sound effect. Just booting up, continuing to boot up the channel.
Also a Mac sound effect.
That's a Windows XP boot up sound. You know that, Dan. Thank you, Sadiq Umar, with the 2,000, I think that's Nigerian currency. If I'm wrong, I apologize. And finally, Ninja Twins with 1 something 90 somethings. My StreamYard's character set doesn't recognize the currency, but we appreciate it all the same. Those are the super chats. Dan, if you could just unstar all of them, please, while I fix things here, and we'll take you to the next exciting part of this live stream, which looks a little like this, when I can find the right bit. It's been a while since I've used these videos. That's it. I've got a problem here. Right, hang on. Let me show you my problem. It's been so long since I've used the claw that now I need to tell it what ads are, like the privacy thing. So I'm going to object to all of them.
Yeah.
There we go. That's got it working. Right. So here's how this part of the live stream works. Yes, welcome back, Claudia. The non-AI version of Claudia. You'll be delighted to hear.
Oh, do we need to boot up Claudia?
No, thank you, Dan. We have 180 submissions on the non-gaming form and 142 submissions on the gaming form. So what we do is we kind of rotate between the two and pick out a number. So I have to type that number in to the claw machine. And then we simply draw the number out using the correct sound effect, which still works. And that number is 28. We type in 28. And if I remember, Dan, the quick hack here is that we highlight this channel, we right click on it, and then we, which one is it? Go there directly. So I don't have to copy and paste. Bit of a game changer, that one. So we are looking at Chakra, and they are the ultimate destination for all things Naruto and Boruto, which I believe is a very, very popular anime series. And that's as far as I'm going to go in my explanation of what this channel is about.
I don't know. I don't know if this. I don't know if I have much to say about this channel.
Are you saying because some of this might not be appropriate for all ages?
Probably is that.
Yes,
the reason
I agree.
not,
Just seeing the titles, I'm sorry, we're going to have to move on.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
But good luck. I don't think they're doing anything necessarily wrong. It's just not.
For our audience, we realize that
yeah.
YouTube can categorize content for different age groups, but we can't necessarily do that until we see the thumbnails. And some of those thumbnails were a little saucy, but it's building an audience for you. So good luck with that. Let's move on, shall we? There's nothing to see there. Channel 178. Let's see what we find this time. All right. 178. Skits and Parodies. This one from Voven BRB. All right, approaching 5,000 subscribers with nearly 250 videos. And these videos are published maybe 2 or 3 times a week. And I guess what we often find with skits and parodies is that view counts can be quite spiky.
Yeah.
Something really hits with the audience, and then the next thing doesn't quite do the same. And we're seeing this here with, there's 2 outliers here with thousands of views, and then stuff in between with 100 views, maybe less.
Whenever I see skits about YouTubers, I immediately think of Man Carrying Thing. And that's those 2 videos that did well there. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting a little bit, obviously in their own style. But they asked why every YouTuber uses the sound effect, and then they talk about the things YouTubers do when something's awkward. I've noticed both of those just by the thumbnails. I'm like, oh yeah. And so I think that's pretty cool. It's relatability again. This came up earlier today, but making content that people can look at without thinking too hard, it makes them more likely to click on the video. If I don't need to guess what the video is about, then it's all that's left is the decision. Do I want to watch it right now? And sometimes that's just not happening. The one from 12 hours ago could be interesting. If you're 16 to 35 years old, please watch this video before it's too late, says the thumbnail. It's like maybe in a couple days, but I don't know. Why? What's the urgency? That could be communicated in the thumbnail. They chose not to do that. So there's like the hits and misses, but the hits really work and the communication is solid. So you could look at Man Carrying Thing because he's really good at like making a video look relatable right off jump, and that could be one channel to look at for inspiration. There's probably a lot more out there, but that's the one that jumped to my mind.
Talking about most popular, it's kind of leaning into the YouTube cultures. A meme seems to be interesting. I want to click on this one, to be honest.
Yeah.
So let's give this creator 30 seconds grace.
Disclaimer. Okay, so you're telling me if I say the word subscribe, the subscribe button plays an animation?
It did it. It actually did.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm telling you. What? Who said that? All right, I just uploaded this video, so let's test it out. Subscribe. Whoa, no way. I also added a few more, so let me try one towards the end. Subscribe. You must wait 3 minutes before the next animation.
Is that right?
No, that's fake.
Yeah.
I mean, the text is them adding it.
I know.
Maybe it really does work the way in the background, but
hey, I was just watching then, and I kind of forgot that we were on a channel audit, and like we needed to move on. So that kind of had me hooked. But it speaks very much to my interest as a creator.
Yes,
and maybe it does go back to this, like why this one performed well because it's about YouTuber culture and meme, whereas how I tricked my brain into studying less, that doesn't. Right. I know you're trying to lean into kind of like a different vibe and theme, but the audience seems to be reacting better to creator themed and inspired skits here.
Yeah. There's, the relatability is easy when it's about YouTube because you're talking to an audience that is on YouTube and they've probably seen a lot of this stuff because you're making YouTube videos about YouTube culture and YouTube problems and things like that. So that makes a lot of sense, and it's like the easiest way to achieve relatability. But there's other things too. That's why trends work, right? Like if some celebrity does some silly nonsense out in the public sphere and everyone's talking about it, you can make a meme about that or something. So it's just trying to find relatable topics. But sometimes you are missing, like A Terrifying Night in the World's Most Haunted Basement. That feels like a video that I would see on a totally different channel. Are you doing skits and parodies, or are you locking yourself in haunted hotels? Like, that's kind of 2 different things to me. So there is like audience mismatch here at times with their content.
To give the creator maybe some more ideas, then certainly what we've learned is that when we have fun with the 1 of 10 or the 10 of 10s within the YouTube studio, that's quite a relatable thing. Trying to reach certain watch time, 10 million shorts views. if I was going to make more memes and skits, those are two topics that I could look at multiple times. Or like getting not banned, but like getting a copyright strike or a copyright claim, or like reuse content. These are things that we often see and we occasionally joke about. Let me give you a quick example of one of the meme images that kind of worked well recently was this one. The idea that you think you've made it when you hit 1,000 subscribers, but in reality, it's the 10 million shorts views that's really going to be the big mountain to climb.
Yeah.
You know, and for us, 5,000 likes is a good return on the investment of a meme there. And I think this creator, who I've now lost, where were they? Was it on this one? Oh no, they're over here. More of that for me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on, Dan, shall we?
All right.
Pick a gaming channel. I think it's time for a gaming channel to look at. So we have 152 responses. So I will reset the claw to pick from that list. And we got channel 57. All right, let's see what we're going to find here. So they're making quite a big statement with their channel name. I don't know if that leans into any of the content, but they're saying they have social anxiety. I think a lot of people, probably Dan and myself, as well as everybody listening and watching this live stream, may relate to that in some way. Because, like, you know, hands up if you're an introvert. And YouTube is one of those creative outlets for introverts. I think many of us are just that. Yeah. But anyway, is that translating into the content, Dan? I'm not seeing that strongly. It's survival horror gaming, it looks to me like.
Yeah, I think letting people know like different things you're going through is helpful to like be relatable to a wide audience. So channel name aside, it seems like that might be their way of communicating that. Let's look at just like the consistency and what they're doing. It looks like you are sticking to a genre, right? Survival horror kind of games. That's great. The scariest games ever played, 2 scary games. Like I'm looking at the latest video there, and it's like so close to me. Like I would have rather you had maybe taken like a larger list and said the scariest games I played in 2024 or something like that. Like that one feels a little more succinct than the scariest games ever played, like that you ever played or that anyone's ever played. That I'm already asking questions about that. And then 2 scary games is like an over communication now, kind of like another part of the title that doesn't need to be there. So I had to think about your title and thumbnail a lot there, and I'm probably already not clicking on the video. You know, the clarity is not fantastic. Can we survive the zombie troopers? Okay,
I'm just establishing how old the channel is, because I went to most popular
2 months,
and they've had videos that have hundreds of views. These are their oldest videos, so they have been on YouTube at this point for only 2 months.
That's great.
So to have this volume of content already up and with the subscribers and the view counts where they are, I think they're probably starting to get enough feedback, whether it's from data or the comments that they have, how they might want to tackle this going forward. But yeah, please continue.
Yeah, like so the next 3 videos, Can We Survive the Zombie Troopers, and then Break Your Brain, and Is This the Scariest Pre-Release Game Ever? I think they need to continue experimenting titles and thumbnails, because they are just kind of relying on dark, spooky looking game and a facial reaction every single time, and it's not working. But when I see the title, is this the scariest pre-release game ever, you know what I imagine in the background is a Steam page with the game's title. Right. You know, like literally, like I've seen people kind of go that route. Like, is what the scariest pre-release game ever? You can kind of allude to it in the thumbnail in that case, or you could say in the title, is blank the scariest pre-release game ever? I don't know. Like, continue focusing on how you're communicating the messaging behind these videos, so someone who's scrolling by might have a larger chance of clicking on it. It's just, it takes practice.
Dan, shoot me down if you think I'm going to the tried and tested well of these 2 observations, but they are playing a different horror game every single video. I don't think they're sticking to a particular game for a period of time.
Yeah.
And so can they expect the audience to follow along with them? Maybe if they were more established, it would matter less. But what I'm also going to say is, this is going to sound a bit probably over critical and simplistic, but wasn't Markiplier making this type of video over a decade ago? And so how is this different
Right.
and refreshing? And yeah, I apologize if I'm being a bit too simplistic here, but what is it, the USP here? What differentiates this creator from many other horror gaming channels we've seen in the past?
Yeah, and it's not clear by looking at the titles and thumbnails. What I will say too is when they play through a game, one thing you could try, and this is advice. I'm kind of compiling my big beginning of the year gaming video that I do.
Oh yeah.
And one of the bits of advice I want to touch on this year is the full playthrough and the value of that and why those work. And in your case, I see you played Alien Isolation for multiple parts. You could take that entire thing, compile it into one big video and say, my full playthrough of Alien Isolation was insane, or something like that. And then like you're communicating value right off the bat. You're giving me a complete experience. It's not just someone playing Alien Isolation. It's someone playing the entire game in one video. And that has an appeal. You might not want to watch a 6-hour video, but there are a lot of people who do. And so you could consider that, but that's a whole different audience too. Consider that too. You're talking about second monitor kind of viewers now, but I don't know. That's just one direction you can take this. And it's a good way to introduce yourself to a broad new audience. If you're struggling to be like, well, what can I offer that's different? Maybe you're the person who plays through an entire horror game, or maybe you play through horror games blindfolded. I don't know. It's just about creating that like interesting thing that makes you stand out. Like Rob was just saying about Markiplier and so on.
Dan, let me congratulate you, by the way, on yet another one of these How to Start a Gaming channel videos, the one that you do every year, hitting 1 million views. That's awesome. I think that just happened very recently.
Nice.
So how many have you done of them now? I think you've got at least 2.
There should be 4.
It should be 4. I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not. You've not done it every year.
2020.
There we go. There's a 2021 of 1 million and 700,000. I think there's another one with 500,000. But yeah, we know it works. We'll be doing it again next year. In a couple of months, I guess. Let's draw out another channel then. We're going to go back to non-gaming. So we're up to 200 submissions now. So I type in that number. We pick something out, which is channel 179. I know that's suspicious since we did 178 just a few channels ago. But let's introduce everybody to Kieran Magician, I think we're going to call this, with 150 subscribers, 33 videos. And is there a unique offering here of ASMR card magic tricks?
Interesting.
It's a little bit of a alternative view. Makes me want to watch one of these.
What I was literally just saying to the last channel, like find the thing that makes you stand out. You could do card magic, but they've combined ASMR and card magic, like close-up magic. That's pretty cool. I think that helps them stand out.
Let's give one of these a try. I'll do, surely shuffling is going to be a relaxing thing to listen to.
I wouldn't necessarily put this in the beginning of the video.
First, yeah, all right. Yeah. Let's not start with this. The viewer who's probably being exposed to your content for the first time doesn't need this plea for subscribers.
Right.
Let's get straight into the content. So what I would do is I go into the YouTube editor and I would cut the video right there. This is how your video should start, in my opinion.
Yep. Do a lot of ASMR channels do whisper commentary on top of the thing that's supposed to make?
Yeah, they can do.
Okay.
Maybe they do the sound and then they whisper, so like there's a gap between the two.
Maybe we can skip ahead a little bit and see like when the shuffling starts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
It could be Rob's sound, but I do feel like one upgrade eventually should be a microphone.
I agree. I'm hearing that background noise as well. Now, ASMR is a little tricky to do, Dan, because you do have to turn up the gain incredibly as well.
Yeah.
But because this really is the vital part of any ASMR content is that microphone.
Yeah.
But I guess what we also need to say is that this channel isn't focusing solely on ASMR. It's just like an interesting avenue that they've gone down, which seems to have had some success.
Absolutely. And then their latest videos, it seemed more like a tutorial on like shuffling cards, which is great. So they've taken a deck of playing cards and made an entire channel around it, and they found unique ways to stand out. So that's like super encouraging. I honestly, I know the channel has like a long way to go in terms of developing cleaner looking thumbnails and all that stuff, but this is such a solid start. Like this gives me like so much hope for this channel's future.
That's the thing I was going to look at maybe next, Dan, the thumbnails. I think they're functional at this point. And what I mean by that is there's a solid structure in that you have a clear background, you have text, which is very easy to read, and then you have some association with the topic, which is the cards. Now, in a lot of these, you are kind of just fanning out the cards. Perhaps in this master card shuffling, is there a way, almost like this one, where you have it in like mid action? And this is one of the classic ways to make the thumbnail more interesting is, but you have it in this kind of unique position and you have an arrow pointing to something. So you're trying to direct the potential viewer to something that you need to do, but you're not revealing too much. It's kind of like a tease and a clue. So just maybe a bit more thought and creativity in the thumbnails would be the only thing I'm recommending at this point. But even though these thumbnails are very basic, I think you're at a fantastic starting point.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The only other thing I would say is that I think with content like this, you have a great opportunity to make shorts on these videos. Like super short ones where you're just showing a trick and maybe you're not even showing people how to do the trick. You're just showing some cool trick. So let's try this one as an example.
To do that without a table is impressive.
Yeah, you're right. So again, I would say I probably wouldn't include this bit of you pulling the cards out.
Right.
I would just be showing the folding and the shuffling. Like it's
right there.
here.
The anticipation of you doing that is good. That's a good starting point.
And a cut maybe was required there because you just had to pre-position the cards. And this short probably feels about 40 seconds long. I feel there's opportunities to do some more cutting as well. Just as you're preparing the folds. You just want to hear those different folding noises all of the time.
Yes, very satisfying.
Yeah,
I think they are just like, they're letting too much stay in these videos. It's really, I felt this way about the long form one too. It was a lot of like talking at the beginning and tapping and stuff. I'm like, but I'm here for the card shuffling. Can we, so that is like, again, I didn't say this channel was perfect. I do feel like there's like improvements they can make over time. And those are certainly some of them, but this, like the fact that they're able to stand out and create such a channel with a deck of cards is impressive. And it speaks to somebody who probably learned how to do these tricks and thought, oh, wow, what if I made a channel about this? It's I've been saying this recently, but there is like a subset of people who have this where they like have a skill set and they make a channel around it. But it feels like the creators we talk to, a lot of them wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And then they have to figure out, well, what am I going to YouTube about? And that always puts you at a disadvantage. And I feel like this creator was probably the opposite.
So in this case, Dan, it's not a case of dance, monkey, dance. It's shuffle, magician, shuffle. We want to see the shuffling.
Shuffle the cards.
Shuffle the cards. Shuffle. And I guess I can't help but do a bit of shameless promotion here. I did attempt ASMR on the vidIQ channel a long time ago. Oh, it's not there, but I can't find it.
Okay, let's try for the best.
Hang on. No, I want people to watch this now. How to start an ASMR channel vidIQ. There we go. Please, everybody. I made this a long time ago, but I had a lot of fun making it, and that channel just reminded me of that video. But if you don't want to watch it, then we'll draw another channel out of the claw. So we're at 159 channels for gaming. Channel number 56. That felt, again, suspiciously not random if I've just picked 57 previously.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
AI Claw would never do that.
Dan, you know what? A channel audit would not be complete without a Minecraft channel. And here we have one. Lazy Eye Cal. Well, hang on. Let's just check that. It did say they were a Minecraft channel.
Uh-huh.
But I'm seeing Friday.
Sometimes there's Minecraft.
Is it 5? It's 5 Nights at Freddy's, right?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they've just pivoted onto Minecraft recently.
Yeah. The third video did well, but yeah, some of the FNAF videos did exceptionally well too, which has got to be a bit of a conundrum. I'm a pufferfish. I don't know what that is. It did well as well.
Where did you see? Hang on. I'm getting deja vu. Have we got any more? I'm sure maybe it was another channel that was looking at the I'm a pufferfish game as well.
Okay.
Anyway, that's months into the past now. So here's what we have today. Can villagers survive in the Nether? Will villagers really breed in the Nether? Does that make any sense to you, Dan? Like they're asking,
I've never asked that question, but
interesting questions.
Yeah, I think so. This mistake almost cost me everything. So it's kind of like they have a Minecraft Let's Play and they're teasing that there's some kind of mistake they made, but then sometimes they're doing Minecraft tutorials. I think going from Five Nights at Freddy's to Minecraft is just a bit of a leap. You know, there's probably some crossover, but I do feel like the audience, you're juggling that. You're splitting the attention on your channel. So that's gonna be the first thing is target audience. You claim you're a Minecraft channel when you fill out our form. We're seeing you're kind of a variety channel, and then my concern is that variety kind of like matching a regular audience expectation? If I subscribe to your channel, am I going to get something consistent?
I think what we have to say, Dan, is that they were doing Minecraft stuff up until 7 months ago. Then they completely pivoted, and now they've completely pivoted again. So what we ideally wouldn't like to see as an audience is another really sharp pivot in 2 or 3 months' time when, I don't know, you get bored of Minecraft stuff and you want to go back to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
And this constant cycle is probably going to mean that your videos do have maybe a possible ceiling of several hundred views, which, don't get me wrong, that's pretty promising for the 72 subscribers, and you're getting more views and subscribers every single time you make a video. That suggests that there's quality in the content, but now you've got to be consistent with the audience that you're speaking to.
Right. That is the thing. So not like a lot of advice I can offer beyond that. I do feel like a lot of the advice we've given today, I've noticed today, like in chat, people are like, oh, what about, can I look at my channel in this context, this channel review context? Like, we've seen so many cool channels already. We're not even done yet. And there's like so much advice that I think could apply to this channel as well, just throughout this stream. So I'll just kind of revert back to past Rob and Dan on this one. Because I don't think they're far off, but I do think they need to kind of focus up a little bit.
I'm going to try the first 30 seconds of this video, Dan, just to maybe determine is the video quality really good. And it's
sure.
This is why they're getting plenty of views despite their relatively small subscriber size.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. My Minecraft world is going absolutely amazing. In today's video, I decide to watch some villagers make a little love happening. I don't know if you guys were here when I had to make 2 children, but you know.
I'm going to pause it there just in case.
Yeah. It's a little long, that intro.
Yeah, it felt a little long. Yeah, without seeing any Minecraft imagery, certainly it was all about the creator, which is cool.
Yeah.
But I guess the thumbnail is Minecraft heavy. We want to see some of that imagery relatively quickly.
I think it would have been funny if they said my Minecraft world has been going amazing, and then it cut to B-roll of it not going amazing. Like
yeah, indeed.
And like I don't know. I think some comedic elements in there. If you're going to do a longer intro like that, that helps to kind of like hold my small brain's attention. But yeah, I like the vibe for sure. It was just a little bit lengthy.
All right, I'm gonna get in another channel here from non-gaming ball pool, channel 86. Finally, some randomness, and we are looking at Lonely Pod, which is about podcasting.
Oh,
or it's a podcast channel.
Oh,
and it looks down as if they're at the very beginning of their YouTube journey. So I will get away from that video. We'll go to the channel itself first. And we'll look at the video. So yeah, 6 videos, 2 subscribers. They've been on YouTube for a month. So can we identify what the podcasts are about, first of all? And given the length of the videos, I would ask, are these... Well, I don't know. Should podcasts be of a certain length? That's one question. And if it is a podcast channel, why are they not sorting their content via podcasts? Because I'm not seeing a tab there, which presumably means these videos are available to watch as podcasts. Yeah.
I think the term podcast is getting a bit muddy thanks to YouTube entering the space and being like, hey, put your podcast here. And now it's like, oh, should a podcast be video? Are all podcast videos now? And then what constitutes as a podcast? If video is now part of the medium, then you can do a reaction channel, but call it a podcast. Does that still count? I always, to me, the difference is, can I listen to it without watching it?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, even if watching it adds some, like, is this a podcast? What we're doing right now? I would say no, because there's a visual element that's really important. But maybe some of the other stuff we do on Tuesdays sometimes could be counted as a podcast. So anyway, semantics. The topics themselves, I'm not seeing podcast, I'm seeing reaction channel.
Yeah, me too.
Which is fine, I guess, but that feels like the visual element is required to me.
The 2 in the middle here have more podcasty vibes in that they're maybe about relationships or like personal secrets. We don't have enough of a series of podcasts to really identify who the audience is and what these topics the podcast should tackle yet. But again, it is very early days. I think what I will note is that whenever I see a video with absolutely no views after a period of time, like 12 days, this one 24 hours, this one view in the last 4 hours, there may be some, I don't often cover this, but there may be some SEO challenges here, because when YouTube have spoken to us in the past, they've said that, you know, descriptions, keywords, titles don't mean that much unless we have very little data about you. And perhaps saying, am I a bad boyfriend, pipe character, lonely pod, pipe character, ep2 with no spaces, might mean that it's just making it more difficult for YouTube to categorize your content and serve it to the right audience.
Yeah. There's a lot of like reps I feel like they still need to get in.
Yeah.
You know, they should probably make about a dozen or so more videos testing out different theories and things. Because with only a few videos to look at here, I mean, there's any number of suggestions we could make, but really we don't understand fully what the creator's goals are yet. And they might not either. I don't know. I did identify that, like, the 3 videos on the right there, those are a podcast. The other 2 are, I think, reaction videos. I don't think they're part of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That to me makes more sense because the episode numbers and things like that.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do a couple things on one channel, which is fine. I'd say for podcasting in general, I would always recommend shorts. Make sure you're clipping your content. And if you have like an insightful thing to say, or a guest that does something or says something insightful, whatever, like, make sure you're making shorts of that. And make sure when it comes to shorts, I don't need to have context. If I just swipe to it on the shorts feed, you're saying something that completely makes sense, even if I don't know who you are or what your channel's about.
That is a lonely pod. And Dan, what we're going to do now is remove
What?
the claw.
Oh,
It's gone. And
okay.
we're
Do you want to
removing
get
the
AI
forms.
claw? Do you need the AI claw?
Don't need the AI claw.
Okay.
What we're going to do is full on here in the moment channel audits. And we do that via the magical tool that is StreamYard's giveaway tool. And what this is going to require from you is simply matching the text I'm about to write in this box and putting it in the chat once. You only need to do that once and it will enter you for a channel audit. This is to ensure that everybody watching right now has a good and equal chance of getting an audit, because people who fill out the form may not be here anymore, may have left. So Dan, I'm going to throw it over to you. What wording should we have here?
Okay. Hashtag one time I made a video and it did really, 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 really good.
How many? Oh, I can't. That's my maximum.
Perfect.
Characters.
It's perfect.
There you go. Type that into the chat box and let's see what happens. And amazingly, people are already able to do this. I don't know, like maybe somebody needs to, like, well, I guess you can now copy and paste what's already in there, like if it was taking too long to write out.
Yeah.
We'll wait until it hits 100 entrants and then we will draw one of these wonderful people who's in here as a vidIQ community. Dan, I heard recently on the Boost podcast, our amazing podcast, which is hosted by Travis and Jen, a new way to address our community. Like, we've struggled with this in the past. I've tried vidIQ Nation, didn't really work. But what do you think to vidIQ?
vidIQ?
I like it. I like
bad.
it as a term, but I'm reluctant to kind of steal it from the Boost podcast. But going forward, I think that's a cool way of addressing the vidIQ. But because I say vidIQ so often, I've really got to think about saying vidIQ. vidIQ crew doesn't sound right to me.
Wait, vidIQ for anybody who doesn't get a channel audit.
All right, I did press the play. There we go. Like those incredibly delayed sound effects. But Black Shinobi 956 Game Dev is our first winner. Now all we have to do is find this channel. I suspect it will be very easy to find this channel, or at least I sincerely hope so. Maybe I was wrong. There we go. I found them now. Okay. 2,000 subscribers, 85 videos. This is a niche that we often stray into, Dan, like specifically video game development channels.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing Unreal Engine tutorials as well. They had a run there where they were just doing a handful. They did very, very well. And then even before that, behavior trees are surprisingly controversial. Wow. They kind of found their niche within a niche here.
I'm curious, is this character unique to the creator, or
I don't know,
like a stock iRobot character from Unreal Engine 5?
It looks like it's a model that they use in the actual games.
Yeah, it feels like it has some kind of unique branding to it, because I've never seen that before anywhere else. But I'm guessing when regular viewers to this channel see that character, it makes them more inclined to click.
Yeah. So for the most part, their tutorials are taking off. They're doing a fantastic job with very few misses here. Most of their videos have little outlier scores under them, which is great.
Yeah.
Especially like for their subscriber count, these views are fantastic. So every once in a while, if you talk about something you learned from playing every game in a game jam, that's okay. Like that doesn't hurt anyone to have a video like that and then it didn't do super well. But we can see that the bread and butter, you've cultivated an audience that comes to you for Unreal Engine 5 tutorials, and it looks like they really want to dive into like AI like developing an AI like character in the game and the behavior trees, and as you put it, that's resonating really, really, really strongly. That's our other thing, simplified guide to world partitions, it looked like. There's all kinds of cool stuff going on here. So understand that, like, that is why people are subscribing to your channel. It's okay to try other things. I would still say if it can be in the context of being a game dev, that's very, very helpful. What I would have done for the game jam thing is, like, what if you only played the games made in Unreal Engine, for example, and you kind of reviewed the things they did well and things like that. So you know, keep in mind that you probably have a lot of people subscribing who just stick to this game engine.
We do have to ask the question. Well, maybe I'll ask the question in a second. I just want to look at the engagement here. 300 likes, 40 comments. Maybe a bit low for a video with 6,000 views. Just check out the intro to this one.
Everybody's talking about state trees, the new tool in Unreal Engine that's allowing
nice studio, good setup,
AI and
good audio.
Way. Question I had:
odd frame
are
rate.
state trees any better than behavior trees, blueprints, or state machines? So I spent the last few weeks studying them, and there are some glaring issues, but overall they're wonderful. Studying the
I like his conversational tone. I feel like welcomed, and you know, it's almost like I'm just going to sit in a room and listen to you talk about your passion, and that felt authentic and real. The question I was going to ask Dan is, there's the obvious gap here. 4 months, they've not done anything since. I guess if you're coming back to us with like new ideas, I'm always going to say, let's try and make a commitment contract. Like, what are you going to do to the end of the year to get yourself back into a routine of consistency? And looking at your previous schedule, 1 a month. So like, I would maybe ask, can you do 3 videos by the end of the year? Whatever they be, just to confirm your love and passion for creating content.
Yeah. But I hope that your last video didn't discourage you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It can be discouraging to like work on a video and then not have it do well. You tried something new and it was a bit of a pivot for you. That's okay. Like, your channel is not broken. If you go back to like what you were doing before, you'll be fine. But you can also keep iterating on experiments. Like I said, one gap that you could have maybe bridged there is understanding that people might be subscribing to you specifically for the Unreal Engine, and then you focus on like other games in Unreal Engine or things like that. And like, I already gave the idea to you earlier, but yeah, that I hope that you can get back into it. I hope we can see some new content from you soon.
And maybe previously referenced this channel we looked at, the Blender tutorial channel, because I think there was some advice there which may be relevant to you as well. In the meantime, let's draw again another channel. See if I've timed the sound effects right this time. No, I haven't. Renegade's Garage. It seems more difficult to find channels these days. I always have to actually do the
I've noticed that recently. I've been
channel filter search to find what I'm looking for. But we have found Renegade's Garage with almost 17,000 subscribers. And is this a good place to just talk about, Dan, how I have an immediate impression on the thumbnails?
Yeah, this was this stood out to me immediately.
So what do we want to talk about here?
I don't like the font color.
So we're talking about this kind of neon glow effect, which means that the text is by far the dominant thing on the thumbnail, and it kind of almost destroys the strength of any other elements on the thumbnail, right?
Yes. It's taking over. Like, the latest video is, you need this, and I could not tell you for the life of me what you're trying to tell me I need in the thumbnail.
What is this?
That looks like their logo. So I don't need your logo. Like, what is it that I actually need? I have to read the title, which is difficult. Like, IWE Color 5-watt blue laser engraver and cutting machine 400 by 400 millimeter. Okay, show the machine in the thumbnail, and then in the title, tell me what the machine does. Because here's the thing. That's a search term if I already know what the machine is. But what you're trying to tell me is I need this machine. You're trying to convince me I need it in my life. Therefore, I may not know it exists. So leaning so heavily on the actual technical name of the machine might not be the way to go. You can make 2 videos. You can make one that's more like for the people who know it and you review it, and you can make another saying like, this machine changed my life. And the thumbnail could be
there you go. That makes it far more accessible, Dan. Yeah, good.
Right.
Good
Yes.
approach.
And I want to stress this. When you're talking about products and stuff and you're trying to convince people to get them, understand that people might not know to type those words into the search bar because they don't know it exists. So you're trying to tell them this solves your problem. This thing that you don't know what it is yet, solve the problem. Watch this video to learn what this thing is.
Another thing to look at from a packaging point of view is that many of these titles feel like file names. It's like name of product. So you're not maybe creating enough intrigue and interest into the why of this. Like, I appreciate in this video, you said you need this, but we still don't know why. But then if I go to, let's have a look at this one. Bauer, Sawhorse, and Pittsburgh levels. Awesome. Why? Like, what is the biggest thing this fixes? Why is this a solution to my presumably DIY needs? Is it because it's the perfect height? Is it because it's cheap? Is it because it falls down in like a couple of seconds? Give me like one reason why this is awesome rather than just saying it's awesome, because it kind of loses its effect and meaning here somewhat.
I will say they obviously have a passion for like garage gizmos.
Very much so.
Yeah. And that's great. Like like I was saying earlier, a lot of YouTubers don't have that part down yet. They're trying to figure out what their YouTube passion is going to be. You have that figured out. It's the YouTube part that needs a little bit of work. And you're off to a good start here. This is a ton of content. You've done all kinds of stuff. You have a lot of experience to share. I think it's just understanding an audience overall. Like what audience are you trying to target with these videos?
My guess is that for every 20 to 30 videos, they have an outlier, which is just one of those moments where the particular search term that they are targeting is massively underserved on YouTube. So they go up the search rankings. But on most videos about what look to be, I think some of these are portable batteries and sawing machines and different tools. They just fall into the rest of the search terms and maybe rank 7th or 8th. So they get these hundreds of views from people searching for it, but they get, again, this is my assumption, very little views from the people who've subscribed in the past, because they are covering a lot of different pieces of equipment as well. Some people are going to be interested in a laser engraver, but they might not be the same people who are interested in a sawhorse. There's probably some crossover there, but not like 100%.
Right.
Anything else to look at here? Checking, do they do shorts? They're experimenting with shorts as well. And doing all right. Hundreds of views on most shorts. A couple of live streams as well. They live stream quite a lot, actually. But they're very much in the moment. Like, I would be astonished if they're getting any views after the live stream is finished, given how they've packaged them, especially with the titles.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. It could be fun for your community, but if you have a topic, it's finally Friday. Okay, what's the topic of the day, though? You can open each stream by saying, it's finally Friday, and today we're talking about... And people will watch that after the fact. They will watch your live stream when it's no longer live, especially if they understand what it's about.
All right, Dan. I think what we're going to do now is a quick fire round of channel audits. So we're just going to bring up another channel, and we're going to look at it for like 30 seconds, and we're going to say, this is the most important thing you need to try and address right now. And then we'll move on to the next channel. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right. So Giovanni Valencia, can I find you without much searching. It was a penguin image. There you are. I found you. All right. Let's take a look. Different language, so that's going to make this very tricky. I wouldn't be able to tell from the thumbnails what the videos are about.
Yeah, I don't know what they're about, but more importantly, I think they just, with only 3 videos, we just need to see more. There's not much advice I feel like I can give until we know what direction they're going.
There's an outlier here. It's just maybe about political history around the globe. That's my best guess. Leaning to that. Let's do a series of 3 or 4 videos on that topic. But that was 2 years ago. So, hey, we need to see a more consistent number of videos. Again, I'm going to commit. I'm going to say to you, commit to consistency. Make at least 2 videos by the end of 2024. That's what I'm going to suggest. Let's draw another channel. Still too early. Derek's Lawn Rescue. I think we may have audited this channel in the past. 8,000 subscribers. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we've definitely seen this.
My channel banners have started to do this recently.
Yeah, I've seen this too. I've had this happen.
Out.
Yeah.
Anyway. Wow, some outliers here. 78,000 views.
Yeah, I don't remember what we said the last time we saw this channel, but it looks like what they're doing is working. I mean, these are fantastic views, especially for 8,000 subscribers. I'd be very, very happy with this progress.
Doing a video, what looks to be every single week. Yeah. And their niche, oddly here, within the lawn care genre is sidewalks, looking after sidewalks. So kind of lean more into that. Maybe you can do a challenge like how many sidewalks can I clean in 24 hours, or like go on, Dan, what were you going to say?
Look at their hour-long video, 5 unsafe sidewalks that force people to walk in the street.
Yeah, that's a beauty.
78,000 views. Just
fantastic thumbnail as well.
Yeah, just stellar work here. Can you do more
of
videos
this
that lead to, like, you know, an hour-long runtime and that are just as like that have that interest? Like, I'm sure people, if they've been walking around their town, they've probably seen sidewalks that have not been maintained. That this is the relatability coming into play too. This channel kind of has everything we've been talking about today in like one place.
So, I mean, what I would suggest here is maybe the advice is for other channels. Take a look at this. Like, it's a lawn care channel. Most of you would think, how can you make lawn care interesting? But just from the packaging and the titles, there are intriguing stories that are teased and want to be told and watched.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we give you advice there, Derek, but like, you are a template for other creators to take inspiration from.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm going to wait a little longer this time, Dan. Then I'm going to press the button. Oh, satisfaction there. There's a Reddit channel called Mildly Satisfying, and that's what I should record that clip for. So, Profundus Walks. All right, top result. Let's see. Relatively new. 8 videos, 77 subscribers, 23 videos, so some shorts as well. Walking the streets of London seems to be the topic.
This is working for them. After just 1 month, they got hundreds of views on every single video. Yeah. I think that the more you post, the more your older videos will get recommended. You have a strong audience focus. And this is a matter of like, keep doing exactly what you're doing. I would say the only improvement I would offer is some thumbnail improvement a little bit. Sometimes they're not super clear. And when I look at these 4K walking videos on YouTube, usually the thumbnail is like the biggest selling point. Like, the thumbnail always looks crystal clear and nice. That's my biggest advice for this channel.
Obviously the Selfridges one sticks out the most. I guess I'm asking the question, like, it's a cool thumbnail, but does it also mean that the viewer is saying, well, hang on, how did you get that picture? That doesn't feel like a walking tour if you're taking a picture from there.
True.
So it's almost like the thumbnail is potentially too good for the type of content there is.
You need the perspective of you being on the ground taking a picture of it.
Yeah.
So that would feel like you walked up. Like the rest of them look like that, except for the first video. But all the other thumbnails look like you took them on the ground during the walk. And so still take like a unique thumbnail for your video, but keep in mind the context.
And the final thing here is that you are making your titles pretty keyword rich. You're going for the search criteria. And I wouldn't tell you to do otherwise for the type of content that you're making, because I think you're going to, at least right now, get discovered a lot through search as opposed to browse and casual viewers clicking on their videos from home screens. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
Let's do another one. Start the drum roll. Oh, too early. Delirious Dino?
Dino. That's a fun little
Dino?
picture.
Is this going to be an animation channel? No, it is a gaming channel.
So Minecraft updates. Looks like they're leaning more into Minecraft is kind of like the topic they're nibbling around, but they're not necessarily like playing Minecraft. They're more like talking about different updates or trends in the community, like the Minecraft movie, things like that.
I'm cool with topic and focus here. It is talking about like news updates, so that can obviously have a lot of short-term gain and views, which, you know, for the size of your channel, is pretty effective.
I think they should probably work on maybe more of a video essay, because it seems like a lot of these topics could be a bit longer. We're looking at like 2-minute videos, 4-minute videos. And I also think that you should look at the commentary community and see the type of thumbnails they're making, because you are not putting yourself in all the thumbnails, but some of them. And you could have you in the center and then like have some stuff behind you. Like that's like a very on trend kind of like thumbnail style right now. And so you are in the content. I think you should consider putting yourself in these thumbnails too. So it screams commentary. I'm going to talk about something face to face with you.
It'd help with the branding and consistency as well.
Yeah.
But I guess what we would stress here, Dan, is maybe A/B test that, because maybe having yourself in a thumbnail as opposed to Minecraft elements could put the audience off. So you have that option now to test with a face and without a face in these Minecraft thumbnails. That's it, Dan. I think we've come to a conclusion, because we've gone over. Like I was planning this live stream to be 90 minutes and we've gone 20 minutes over. So I think we've done pretty well to do what we've done here on this special edition of the Channel Audit live streams. Dan, it's been a while since we've done Channel Audit. How did you think that went?
Good. I think we do this again soon, but not too soon.
Yeah, we're kind of playing around with the idea here. Maybe we'll do it every month. You know, maybe we'll do a couple. We might do some more as well while we're approaching the 2 million subscriber mark. We're just experimenting with stuff. We've been on YouTube a long time now. We want to try different things and see where they end up. But it was nice to audit channels again. I hope you enjoyed this. I've just said that trigger word of saying hope you enjoyed this, so you're all abandoning this live stream right now. So we might as well get on our way, Dan. I'll leave you with the final words while I fumble around with the right outro thing that I need to press.
Subscribe. Get this number up for us. 2 million. Beat forward.
Now, folks, I can't remember if we get copyright claimed on this music either, so I'm going to have to talk over it while it's counting down. I don't know why this happens. For years, we've been using this music, and I'm pretty sure we have the license to use it, but somewhere, somehow, things have gone wrong with YouTube. Anyway, there's Dan, smiling as always he is, and there is always one big secret that Savage shares with us, and that is he speaks nothing but the truth. In the meantime, you saw some of our vidIQ tools. Make sure to download them. Now I've got to end the stream. Bye, everyone.